I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
Month with a history-making performance by Punjabi artist Diljit Dosanjh selling out BC Place Stadium. Sikh Heritage Month is as much about where we are now as it is about how we got here. It's important to continue sharing untold stories of our shared Canadian heritage. Stories of how Sikhs landed on our shores as distinct military cavalry in 1897 and sparked the settlement for future changemakers. These were discriminatory times and racist times, Mr. Speaker. Leaders emerged to fight for equality. People like Naginder Singh Gill, who rallied our community to lobby federal and provincial governments to return our right to vote. We were not alone. Sikhs rallied the Chinese community and found support from Montreal Liberal Member of Parliament Samuel Jacobs, who was for many years the only Jewish Member of Parliament in Canada. A few decades of struggle, in 1947, Maninder Singh Badial became the first Canadian of Indian descent to vote in a federal election. I invite everyone to join celebrating Sikh Heritage Month, learning and sharing untold stories about our shared Canadian heritage and the patriotic identity.
The honourable member from Regina, Wisconsin.
Mr. Speaker, last month, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis visited Canada. As was the case with so many other world leaders, the Greek Prime Minister said that his country would welcome more liquefied natural gas imports from Canada. In an interview with CTV's Vashi Kapelos, the Greek Prime Minister said, quote, "As fast as we go in terms of our renewable penetration, we will still need a reliable source of electricity. And for us, for Greece, we don't have nuclear. We're completely moving away from coal, so that leaves natural gas for the foreseeable future," unquote. Unfortunately, this Prime Minister apparently still believes there is no business case for Canadian oil and gas exports to Europe, and Canadian oil and gas should just stay in the ground. Mr. Speaker, when is this Prime Minister going to realize the world needs more Canadian energy?
The honourable member from Waterloo.
Mr. Speaker, a constituent wrote about a Waterloo resident who passed away on January 8th with the humane, caring, intelligent professional services of the MAID program. He shares his older brother endured the unrelenting, cruel degeneration from Parkinson's for about 5 years, until almost every aspect of his life was greatly diminished, with zero hope of abatement or cure. Last year, his older brother started to look forward to departing on his own terms in his own home with the loving support of his wife and family. He told his younger brother to organize a farewell party the morning of his departure. He wanted no tears or unhappiness, just family members celebrating the excellent years he enjoyed so much, and he wanted to participate in his own celebration of life. April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. Life with Parkinson's is going to look different for everyone, and it's changing over time. To all those affected by PD, including people living with the disease, their care partners, medical teams, and others, we are here fighting alongside you for better supports and services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Chatham-Kent, Leamington.
How many scandals do you think Trudeau has had? I have another video over here showing how many, and it is a lot. And I think shame needs to be brought back into Canada because he has no shame anymore. And I think it just trickles down to everyone underneath him. And that's what's really frustrating about Trudeau. And as far as an election is concerned, obviously there should have been one a year ago. But do you think it'll really be in October 2025? Because his steam, like all he has to do is smile and for the camera, go on his vacations. There's going to be a new love in his life coming up, probably, because he has to, because he needs to take attention away from himself. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go back to the video.
Mr. Speaker, this past week, I attended the Canadian Produce Marketing Association annual meeting and trade show in Vancouver. The fruit and vegetable industry gathered to engage in effective ways they can continue to feed the nation and supply Canadians with healthy, nutritious food for their families. I was proud to see the number and both the quality and quantity of exhibitors from Chatham-Kent, Leamington front and center at the show. But I also heard about the severe challenges the industry is facing, how the Prime Minister's carbon tax is resulting in higher food costs, the profound ramifications of the Liberal plastics ban, how it will decrease both our access to fresh produce and will increase the cost and the amount of food waste. Every person I spoke to was adamant that Canadians want.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
an election, a new government. Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister step down, axe the tax, scrap the plastics ban, and allow Conservatives to restore common sense to this country?
The honourable member from Bay of Quinte.
Mr. Speaker, for $15 billion taxpayer dollars, you would think Canada would get supply chains for batteries, some vehicles, maybe even some jobs, but not in Windsor at Stellantis, where we are assembling batteries. The battery material comes from China, the cars are manufactured in Alabama, and the jobs come from overseas. Of the 2,500 jobs promised in Stellantis, more than 900 have been reported to be foreign jobs. And now the union, CBRU to Stellantis, is still hiring foreign workers for jobs promised to Canadians. Stellantis are even asking their Canadian suppliers to sponsor foreign workers and refugees perform the work when there are more than 180 Canadian iron workers and millwrights sitting at home unemployed. Canadians deserve a government that will stand up for Canadian workers. Only common sense Conservatives will ensure Canadian tax dollars are used wisely, that any taxpayer-funded job is given to Canadians, not foreign replacement workers. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister must release all EV battery contracts. It's time to show taxpayers how much we are paying for foreign replacement jobs.
The honourable member for Avalon.
Speaker, I rise today to recognise a constituent in my riding who has single-handedly done more for his community than any person that I know. Heber Best of Kelligrews, Conception Bay South, has been a volunteer for more than half a century, volunteering with organisations such as the Red Cross, CNIB and local Lions Club, a group he was instrumental in introducing to our town 53 years ago. Whoa. He successfully secured funding for a local skating rink, indoor swimming pool, upgrades to the local soccer field and construction of affordable housing units for seniors, as well as the introduction of an annual youth public speaking contest. Over the years, Mr. Best has been presented with several awards, including the Newfoundland Labrador Volunteer Medal, the Lion of the Year, the Judge Brian Stevenson Fellowship Award, and the Melvin Jones Fellow Award. His contribution to our community and our province should stand as a symbol of what selflessness is, and we should all aspire to model our own lives by his example. I invite all members to join me in applauding Mr. Best for his outstanding generosity and caring spirit.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
Hear, hear. The honourable member from New Westminster, Burnaby.
This week is World Immunization Week. Vaccines are crucial tools in safeguarding communities worldwide, preventing up to 5 million deaths every year from diseases such as tetanus and influenza. Vaccination campaigns have allowed us to eradicate smallpox, defeat polio, and decrease child death by over 50%. Yet challenges remain. Declining vaccination rates have brought back deadly diseases, resulting in ongoing outbreaks. Globally, 1 in 5 children are under-vaccinated or not vaccinated at all, jeopardizing their lives and futures. This week, we shout out to organizations.
L'honorable député de Montarville.
The honourable member for Montarville. Mr. Speaker, it's with a heavy heart that I pay my last respects to Mr. Donald Scott, better known as Mr. Bonbon. A true legend in Saint-Hubert, Monsieur Bonbon spread happiness all around him. This exceptional man spread joy by standing on the edge of Chemin de Chambly, rain or shine, greeting passers-by and motorists with sweets. After a heart attack deprived him of the use of his legs, he didn't give up. He overcame his disability by devoting.
And is Chrystia Freeland doing a good job? She is the finance minister and the vice president of Canada. And she is the one that just looks like her head is just spinning when she talks. It's always like trying to drag it on, never answer a question. And maybe they should have this I thought they would always do this. When they ask a question, say, do you mind after you finish it, if you give me 5 seconds to say if you answered it or not for our listeners, because it is so frustrating. Everything is an infomercial with both of them. And that's something that I think needs to be stopped. Maybe the whole Constitution and the human rights and everything needs to be rewritten again. after those two are gone, because this is just frustrating what they're doing. Anyway, let's go back to the video.